In this video, I will show you how to analyze the data that you have collected to determine experimental values for T1 and T2. Having gone through the physics overview part of the lab, you will be familiar with the expressions T1 and T2. T1 is the time it takes for the water level to drain from where it was initially down to the uppermost level of the pebble. And T2 is the time it takes for the water to drain from the initial level at t equal to 0 down to the very bottommost part of the pebble. So we can determine those two time intervals from our data. So here is the data. I've just zoomed in a little bit. So what we want to do is to determine first the time it takes for the water to drain from when you pull the stopper till it reaches the top of the pebble, right? So that's this first portion here. The second time interval is the time it takes from this blip down to this level here where the pebble gets fully exposed. That means the water level has dropped below the lowermost part of the pebble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in once more vertically, and then in this portion I'm going to zoom in horizontally. Okay, so what I would like to do is to collect data, to analyze the data from here to about here. So I'm going to click on the analysis tool. I'm going to select the region from the blip down to about here, and you can see here that the time interval here is 5.74 seconds. That is the experimental value for T1, which is the time it takes for the water level to drop from where it was at the start of the experiment, from when you pulled the stopper, down to the uppermost part of the pebble. So that is time interval T1. So now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and now we would like to determine T2, which is the time it takes from when you pull the stopper out to this location where the pebble gets fully exposed. So once again, let's click on the zoom tool, and we will zoom in on this part of the data. And now click on the analysis tool and then select the data from the blip out to where it starts to flatline, somewhere around there. So you can see here that the time it takes is about 31.36 seconds. So that is the time interval T2 that you're interested in. So in this way we have determined experimentally the variables T1 and T2.